Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm Dorothy. I'm a professional astrologer. You can find me on the web at nhastrologer.com. Click that little letter I in the corner of this video and the drop down card will bring you right to my website. So today I want to talk about the month of August, and I'll do this for each of the zodiac signs. But as a preference, I want you to take quick notes here and remember these things first, and then I'm going to get into each individual sign. Got quite a few things going on in August. I've got at least 20 things to talk about. But a couple of the main things that are going on that are very, very important is this whole month we still have Venus in her retrograde motion in the sign of Leo. And with Venus retrograde, this is that time period where we're reevaluating our values, we're reevaluating some love relationships and partnerships, and we really can be even working on our own self-esteem and our own values and the things that we value just personally about ourselves, because that Venus energy does represent very personal energy. All right, so keep that in mind when I talk about Venus throughout the specifics of each of these videos. And I also want to mention that in the first couple weeks, the first week's actually pretty much close to the first 10 days of August, we have quite a few planets at the final 1 or 2 degrees of each of their respective zodiac signs, and mainly it's Saturn at 28 Scorpio, Venus and Jupiter are both at the 28 and 29th degree of Leo. And when we have these energies, when planets are at the end of the zodiac signs, it creates a sense of urgency. So up until I talk about August 11th, before then, Venus and Saturn and Jupiter transits are all going to have a feeling of urgency around them. So just remember that, and let me get to the details of what's going on now. Okay? All right. Okay, let's get started for you, Cancer, and those with Cancer rising. All right, so it's for you, Peggy. Said so. What we have on August 1st and or August 2nd, it depends on where you live in the country, in the world actually, get on my chair, is Saturn is stationary and moving direct finally. It's after months and months of a retrograde motion. And it is at that 28th degree of Scorpio. I mentioned the 28th degrees, the last couple of degrees of each zodiac sign represents a state of urgency. So this urgency for Saturn as a station, because it's going to stay at this 1 degree for like weeks at a time, and well, has been for a week or two, and will be for another week or two. That final degree, 2 degrees, just takes forever to get out of when planets station at them. And so this goes on in your solar 5th house. So when you have Saturn in the 5th house, you know, this can kind of cut down on creativity, but not necessarily in a bad way, because what it can help you do is to really focus in on your creativity and help you with the Scorpio energy to transform and shift and change what it is that's important for you in the way you're being creative. So I could think of my friend Peggy, and you know, she's been over the last couple of years been creating a lot of beautiful stuff, beautiful jewelry. She's a Cancer, and you know, just these great pieces of jewelry and art, and it's fantastic. And so she's been fine-tuning over the last couple of years while Saturn was in the sign of Scorpio on what works the best for her, you know. And so this is a way that we can all look at that. I mean, we're not all going into business selling our jewelry and our crafts, but the way we can use this like she has is in a sense that, you know, really fine-tuning how we're being creative and what we're being passionate about. Saturn certainly won't let us be very passionate, because it is definitely a wet blanket when it comes to being overly excited and overly passionate, but it is fantastic for those strengths and for creating strong foundations. All right, so now I want to give you a whole bunch of things all at once. Hopefully this isn't overwhelming for you. On August 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, we have a ton of different things going on. So I'm just going to throw them all together. Don't be concerned about the details I say real quick about what planets do and what. Don't you be concerned with that. You be concerned with the words you do understand, all right? I don't want you to glaze over because you don't understand that. I'm going to tell you that Venus in Leo makes a conjunction with Mercury in Leo, and Jupiter in Leo. And all of them are squaring Saturn. What does this mean? All this Leo energy with those 3 planets represent that we really are focusing in on what we're being creative about. That's that 5th house energy. All right, that's where Saturn is, in the sign of Scorpio. And all these other 3 planets are at a 90-degree angle. Looks like this, 90 degrees. Remember that from elementary math, geometry? So that means that there's challenges. So there is basically what it's saying is there is a challenge for you to define what you value from the 2nd house, because you have Cancer rising. It's a challenge for what you value and how you say things and how you move about your local neighborhood and how you do things in your local area and what's important for you in money and relationships. All of these things are being challenged, and challenged is good because it basically doesn't mean challenge is bad. Basically just means that we're looking at energy and we're trying to decide what's going to work best for us so we're not wasting our time and we're not spinning our wheels. This is excellent way to use this energy by focusing in on what I value and how am I going to be creative with it. And what do I value? If I value my time and I want to spend my time with my children, there you go, you've made a decision. It's okay how you use this. We're not all picking up a paintbrush or picking up a stone or creating a flower arrangement, whatever. We all get to be creative in our own way, and if it's just to have fun activities with your children in the summer or for yourself, then that's how you're going to be creative. And that is the highlight in the focus of August, early parts of August, all the way through the 6th. We do have still some more Leo energy, but it's the beginning, but it's early Leo now, because on August 8th, Mars moves into that sign of Leo, into that 2nd house. So how are you creative? Again, is coming up with some new energy from Mars. So it wants you to create, and all of these ideas and all the things that have shifted and changed for you over the last few weeks and few months with Saturn in Scorpio, and that's making a hit and a square angle to that sector. You have an opportunity now to really run hard and fast with something that has finally come to the surface, that it is that you really want to work with and you want to do. So that, over the next 7 weeks with Mars in the sign of Leo, that's an excellent place for that. Nice placement for that. Be creative, have fun with it. Next I'm going to move on to, excuse me, next I'm going to move on to the 11th. And the 11th of August is when Jupiter exits Leo and moves into the sign of Virgo. Now this will be in your solar 3rd house. Jupiter is all about expansion. It's like putting a big old magnifying glass on things and making everything really big and over exaggerated. Virgo is not. Virgo is the exact opposite. So Jupiter is in its detriment in that sign. And I say that because Jupiter used to be the natural ruler of Pisces, and the opposite sign of Pisces is Virgo. That's a science lesson for you, astrology lesson. Anyways, back to the regular forecast. Jupiter in Virgo is about focusing in on the details. It's going to take us a few weeks to get used to this energy. It's like fitting into a pair of brand new washed jeans. They're usually a little tighter than before we put them in the wash. They'll stretch out. We'll get used to it after a little while. It's in your 3rd house of communication, and the 3rd house of how you will, of communication and speaking to others, and how you want to move around your neighborhood and your local environment. All right, early education, things like that. So it's going to be a focus on that Virgo energy for you, starting on the August 11th, and it will be there for a whole year, so we'll get used to it after a little while. Now, on the 14th of August, we do have a new moon in Leo, and that new moon in Leo makes a conjunction to Venus in Leo. She's retrograde, 21 degrees. That's in your solar 2nd house. I'm going to do a separate forecast for that when we get closer to the 14th to that new moon, so wait for that. Come back and watch for that. It'll be I'll post it around the 7th when I get back from my vacation, somewhere around the 7th or the 10th of August. It'll be up late, but that's the way it goes. I'm camping. So, but on the 14th, that new moon in Leo is going in that 2nd house. It's really going to help spark lots of new creative endeavors for yourself. I'll just leave you with that piece. On the 19th of August, Venus retrograde, making a trine aspect to Uranus, who's retrograde. That's the 10th house to the 2nd house. This is an opportunity to be very creative and to really value what it is that you do at work, at your career, what you're known for. This is especially great for entrepreneurs or somebody who has a lot of freedom at work. You know, not necessarily under the thumb or scrutiny of a boss who micromanages things. Not necessarily under the scrutiny of that. That can happen. That's Jupiter and Virgo all the way, micromanaging. But with the energy of this Venus-Uranus trine, sometimes these trine aspects are so easy that they kind of just pass us by. We don't even know they happen, so I'm giving you a heads up. Watch for something that might be coming to you after that new moon, you know, somewhere around the 19th, where you might have an opportunity to get a raise, do something extra, do something special, something it will have a lot of meaning, because it means a lot to you. It's coming from that 2nd house of things that you value, so it will have a lot of meaning to you. On the 23rd of August, the Sun will move into the sign of Virgo, so we can start to manage things a little bit better, manage things on a daily basis, a daily routine. It is in your solar 3rd house, so with it being in that area, again, it's about communication. Your 3rd house, 2nd houses, those 2 houses are highlighted in the month of August for you. So what you value and how you communicate that with others. On the 26th, the Sun makes a conjunction to Jupiter. Again, that's it also in your 3rd house. So that will once again add some weight to how you're communicating with others. Yeah, that's really simple as that. On the August 29th, the full moon in Pisces is in your 9th house, and that 9th house represents, you know, our beliefs. It's about expanding our knowledge. It's traveling. It is really it's so much fun. That's Sagittarius' area, but you have Pisces in there for yourself, and so there's a lot of spiritual components if you have Pisces up in that area. So a lot of spiritual components to what you want to educate yourself and expand your knowledge about. And this is something that will go on for you. The full moon is there. I will give you more information about that when we get closer to that full moon in a new video all of its own as well. And then on the 31st of August, the Sun is opposite Neptune, and Neptune is right there with that full moon on the 29th. So the 29th, 30th, 31st of August, you basically have this opportunity for communicating, for maybe signing up for new classes, learning some new modalities, something that's very spiritual, if you will. And if it's not spiritual, then you know you really want to focus in on, you know, the esoteric pieces of all of that energy, because it's nothing very, it's not necessarily material. But the Virgo component that's present and strong at the end of August wants you to make, there is one piece of it that is very, very material, because that Virgo wants us to pay attention to the details, and all that Pisces energy wants us to not pay attention to the details and just go meditate and just say, oh, it'll all be fine, because it will be. I'll leave you with that. Thank you, Cancer, for watching. Please come to my website. Online classes, Skype sessions are always available. Book it. Anyways, I'll leave you with that. Blessed be. Thank you very much. Namaste.